the SG55P and 300 blackout. So what is this? In short, it's the Swiss AR-15. I'm just gonna be honest. So we have our AR-15, they have the SG553. However, I've done 2 videos on this platform before, but they were all in 5.56. This is the first time I've done it in 300 blackout, and also first time I've done it in this, I have to say, gorgeous FDE color. What is it with me and FDE nowadays lately? I used to be so anti-FDE, it was insane. And now, anytime I see an FDE gun and it's done well, it has to be done well, I love it. Now, for the people who aren't acclimated with this particular setup, this rifle is essentially, even though I call it the American AR, it's kind of honestly, the Swiss AR, it honestly is a Swiss AR-AK. Because there's a long stroke piston system and it has other aspects of it that feel like an AK that in combination has other things that feel more like an AR-15. So for instance, you have the reciprocating charging handle, as you see here, that's very AK-ish, right? You have the long stroke piston system, which is relatively AK-ish. Not relatively, it is AK-ish. AK is a long stroke piston system. And that, by and large, kind of ends the AK aspects of it, right?
Before you finish watching this video, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Exothermic Technologies, the maker of the Pulse Fire flamethrower. With the Pulse Fire, instead of relying on pressurized butane cans and have a constant open flame during use, Pulse Fire uses their patent-pending electronic ignition, giving you a truly on-demand flame. Right now, you can get 20% off all accessories and gear if you purchase a flamethrower when you use the code ACC20. Thank you, Exothermic Technologies, for sponsoring today's video.
Say hello to my little friend!
All the ammo used in this video was brought to you by Nosler, maker of the most innovative, most accurate, and most effective bullets and ammunition in the industry.
Everything else is more or less AR-ish. Right? So you fuse that together and you get a rifle that is honestly one of my favorite platforms, largely because I like the way it looks. And I said that in the initial video I did on it. The thing about this rifle too is it's very feature heavy. So for instance, you have a folding stock, which you're allowed to do because you don't have that buffer tube because like I said, it's kind of AK-ish. Then on top of that, I guess that would be another feature of it that's kind of AK-ish as well. And you got this beefy grip, which I have a love-hate relationship with. I like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. I'm not in love with the angle. I wish the angle was a little bit less exaggerated, but nonetheless, I can work with it and it's great. Now, another feature about this gun, which isn't typical, is the fact that you can run Magpul magazines and other AR-15 magazines in this gun, because typically you have to get the proprietary magazines, which are hella expensive. We're talking $70 to $100 for a magazine. Yeah. Then on top of that, you kind of have this basic rail cover here. I go back and forth because you can't get a rail for this gun. The problem is I love the way this looks so much. You lose functionality, but visually to me, I love it. Now, these guns are imported by way of one of my good friends actually from JDI. JDI imports these guns from Switzerland and then they come in here in batches. So they're not always readily available and that's also what makes them kind of expensive because of the conversion rate. But there is a huge market for these guns, not huge, but there is a very extremely loyal market for these guns. And when they can get their hands on them, they get their hands on them. Especially when, he basically drops a release. Like I likened it to a Supreme drop, essentially is what it is. He posts something, he's like, oh, I got these, and then they're gone, typically. Now, this one is special to me because it is in 300 blackout, and 300 blackout is one of my favorite rounds. So, like I said, this is very feature heavy. Now, with having the ability to run regular magazines, you do lose the kind of trigger guard. In the other ones, you could swivel the trigger guard and make it basically bigger for all intents and purposes. But other than that, you get your flip-up sights. You have your ambidextrous safe selector switch over here. I have a love-hate relationship with the selector switch too, just largely because my fingers don't reach it. So I guess that's a me thing more than it is a gun thing, but whatever, shut up, Peter. Another thing that's rather unique about this gun is the fact that it's a 12-inch barrel, 11.9-inch barrel. Usually when you talk about 300 blackout, you get barrels in that space of like 9 to 10 inches. This is 11.9. They said they just want to be big dog in the league of barrels. So you get 11.9. Now, I put this Surefire or War Comp on here because why would you get a 300 blackout if you're not gonna suppress it? So I'm definitely gonna suppress it. Then you also have the ability to make adjustments on the gas, which basically allows you to run it suppressed or unsuppressed. There's only 2 settings. The other ones have like 18 different settings. This only has 2. So, question now begins, how does it feel? Well, my main interactions with the gun are gonna be this hand here, and this hand here, and then my shoulders. There are a lot of things I love about this gun aesthetically. There are certain things about this gun that ergonomically, so it's like, for instance, the grip, it's kind of an exaggerated angle. Here, as far as the rail, or the lack of a rail up front, this feels actually really good. And then shouldering it on my shoulder, this stock, if you get your optic situation squared away, so like for instance, I'm running this Leupold Mark III HD, I probably should have held it a little bit forward because I'm getting a little scope shadow, and so I'm almost forced to kind of run the stock right here. But when you can get it to fit in that shoulder like that, oh, it actually feels incredible. And then you can just hear, and it just, Man, this thing is fun to shoot. This is so fun to shoot. Speaking of how it shoots, remember, it's a long stroke piston system. So because it's a long stroke piston system, it's gonna have a different recoil impulse than you would out of, say, for instance, an AR-15. And you notice it. This gun noticeably recoils noticeably more than the AR-15. So, when I'm shooting this gun, I can feel that rod just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it communicates a lot more movement in my optic than it would, say, for instance, an AR-15 that's direct impingement. The interesting thing about that is, even though I'm getting a little bit more movement, because of the weight of the gun, because these guns typically tend to be a little heavier because everything is alloy, right? This is all alloy, upper and the lower. Now, or aluminum, whatever we want to call it. Now, the thing about that is, it's weird because even though I get that movement, it seemingly stays on target. I don't know how to describe it. It's really weird because the movement, instead of it being up, down, up, down, up, down, it's more circular. So it's kind of like shooting an MP5 on full auto. If anybody's ever done that, you notice the dot just does this, like that. Now, this one's a little more exaggerated, so it kind of does this, but it allows me to, let me show you. So when I'm going fast, yeah, that's what it does. It's this. So even though I'm getting more movement in my optic because of the higher, more stout recoil, and it's hard to call it stout because it's not like I can't control it. I can easily control this thing. Actually, you don't have to. You don't have to control it. And the reason why you don't have to control it is because the gun just does this. The way that it recoils is very circular, which means that it has a tendency to stay on target instead of a gun that kind of goes up and down, wants to go up and down. Shooting this gun fast is easy. Now, let's talk about this trigger. I'm still in the love-hate relationship side of it. And I know it's an adjustable trigger, so I can tune this trigger to make it kind of what I want it to be. The trigger is silky. It's silky, smooth, boom, boom. That's your wall, boom, boom, boom. Then you get your brake. See that? But you see you have a little bit of over travel, which I'm sure you can adjust that out. And then you get the reset right there, boom, reset, boom. So, my tendency is to want to shoot this gun like a 2-stage trigger. Don't do that. I mean, you can, but don't do that. Just shoot it like a single-stage trigger, and it rewards you. Just shoot it like a 2-stage. Just sweep straight through it. Bang. So even with its weight, this gun is incredibly balanced. There's a balance to the gun, and I think it has a lot to do with the fact that it's 11.9 instead of a traditional 9 or 10. Either way, the way this gun shoots is really fun. Now, I'm shooting supersonics. I'm not gonna shoot this gun suppressed or with subs until I do a full-length video. So for now, you're getting the supersonic representation. This is what you're gonna get with this. This is all we're gonna do. So, and largely because I forgot to bring my subs. Whatever. But Man, this is, in 300 Blackout, there's just something really incredibly special about this platform in 300 Blackout with this 11.9 or 12-inch barrel. And I can't wait to run it suppressed to see what it does, because I have a strong feeling that running this thing suppressed is going to be insatiably fun. And I mean insatiably fun. So, there you have it. The SG55P in 300 Blackout from the Swiss. Say it with me now together. Swiss. Say it, Peter. Swiss. No, say. Guy. Oh, no, just stop recording. Really? Really?
Guns aren't political. That's why I need your help getting this message to spread on YouTube by clicking the thumbs up button, leaving a comment to let me know what you think of the video, then subscribing to the channel. But most importantly, click that bell symbol. For products featured in this video, click the links in the description.